Okay. An encounter with a benevolent ghost light. In the June 1968 issue of Fate magazine, Arlene O. Myers told the story of the encounter her mother, Laura Jeanette, had with a benevolent ghost light in the Willamette Valley of Oregon in the early 1900s. Several times a year, Laura and her husband loaded up the wagon, hitched up the horses, and made the 2.5 mile trip into town where they traded farm products for household goods. On this particular occasion, their usual autumn trip had been delayed owing to the illness of Laura's husband, and it was already winter when they made the decision to go to town. When they had finished their trading, they stopped off for supper with some relatives. During the course of the meal, Laura's husband became violently ill. The relatives insisted that he stay for the night, and Laura agreed that it would be best for her husband to remain unmoved until the cause of his illness could be established. But she could not think of remaining with him, as they had left their 5 children home alone, and they had no means of contacting the children to make them aware of their father's illness. Telling everyone she would send her 2 oldest boys the following morning to get their father, Laura began the trip home by herself. When she got out onto the road, she discovered it was pitch black. She began to fear she would not be able to see at all, and her thoughts strayed to the reports of a wild cougar that had been molesting cattle in the area. To forestall her fear, she began to pray. A safe and peaceful feeling began to spread over her, and suddenly a light appeared in front of the horses, illuminating the road ahead. Laura breathed a sigh of relief. She had no need to fear the darkness around her, as her path was clearly lit. While she was unable to ascertain the source of the light, she felt it to be benevolent, and the light preceded her all the way home, illuminating every step of her way. When she arrived at the farm, she awakened one of her sons to help unhitch the horses. The following morning, the son came downstairs, and after hearing his mother's account of the light that helped her find her way home, he expected to find the stranger who had held the light. But there was no stranger present. Laura never wavered in her belief that it was an angel sent by God who had held the light. A jack-o'-lantern followed her home. The following encounter with a mysterious globe of light occurred in 1916 when Beverly Kay was teaching at a rural school near Wellsburg, Iowa, and boarding with a farm family. The personal experience of Beverly Kay. I was going with a young man in Wellsburg and very much in love, Beverly said, but he had been acting differently toward me lately, and I was worried. It was in late May, near the end of the school year, and on this particular night I was restless and couldn't sleep. So even though the hour was very late, around 11, I got up, dressed, crept silently down the stairs, locked out the door, and went for a stroll. And here's an illustration. Orbs, fairy lights, spook lights, or will-o'-the-wisps have been seen for centuries. This illustration from the 1845 edition of Thomas Milner's Gallery of Nature depicts a will-o'-the-wisp.